Yo, cuz, welcome to the Talkman Radio Show Live. I'm your host, I'm the Talkman, that's me. You call me whatever you want, call me Talkman, call me John, call me Johnny Boy. Whatever you want to call me, but don't, I'm not even, it's such a lame fucking joke from the 50s. But, hey, welcome to the show. Alright, I guess we're done with all that, and we're going to be moving on. Super Bowl's over. One last show, talk about last season, go over the Super Bowl, do a little review. We're going to talk about that. But first things first, let's talk about 12 Ounce Sports. That's who brought us here. That's who brought us together. 12 Ounce Sports, 12 Ounce Sports Radio. Don't forget that. 12 Ounce Sports Radio has articles and stuff. And don't forget 12 Ounce Sports on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. 12OunceSportsRadio.com has articles, as you can see here, every day. Boom, 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 just knocking it out. And if you're listening on any one of the audio-only replays of the show on Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, I gotta find out what that is. It annoys me. I don't know what it is. But a lot of things annoy me. So, and as you know, of course, that's why you're here. Talkman Radio Show Live every Friday at 6 p.m. That's Eastern Time. It's right now. We missed them. Oh my God. Oh, you can watch me on YouTube. Leave a comment below if you like any of the stuff that you hear tonight, especially if you're just tuning in right now. We're here to talk about fantasy football, but since there's not a lot of football on, then we find things to talk about in the fantasy football realm, which I have tonight. And the football realm as well. It's the football in the off season. It's football. It's fantasy football. It's whatever we can get our freaking hands on because there's nothing going on. But of course, leave the talk man. He'll come up with something for you. And as always, don't forget, listen to the Talkman Radio Show Live every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, streaming on 12 Ounce Sports. Only on 12 Ounce Sports. The only place you can hear me. And subscribe to Talkman Radio on YouTube, Parler, and Odyssey. And friend us on MeWe. We're done with the regular shit, the Facebooks and all that. We got done with them a while ago. We do have a YouTube channel. We're going to be, we'll see what happens with that. If you watch the show, you've heard me rail on all that stuff over the last couple of years. So, but as I've been saying, pretty much every week, you're going. I don't have time for any YouTube videos. There's old ones on there, but I've got something going on which I'm going to put on YouTube later, and you'll understand. Oh. That's why he doesn't have time. Coming probably next month. But if I get a little time, I'll catch them. I know I've missed. There's a lot of Love is Nice's on there, and I want to put some. I want to start adding more content on here on my YouTube platform as well as the other platforms that are down here. But we might be changing them up. I'm trying to find a good little mix, and I don't know if this mix is working with a couple of these guys. At least one of them. So we'll see. Especially with YouTube changing their algorithms around again. Not that it has any impact on me, but it's just hearing that they're doing it annoys me. So, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, but don't forget, check us out below. These are all the alternative sites that I'm on for now. But if I'm changing them up, we'll get to that when we get to that. So that's that. The show this week. What are we talking about this week? What are you be talking about, Talk Man? Well, Super Bowl's over, so the football season's officially ended. Now you just got guys talking about what happened in the Super Bowl, Aaron Donald and Von Miller, blah blah blah. So we'll go over the game real quick. It was a pretty good game. What a terrible game. And I want to say we're going to do the preview of next year's Super Bowl. Yeah, I got it already. I got the goods. Already. Then we're going to moving on. We got free agency coming up. we got the draft coming up. And both of those have significant impacts on fantasy. The Rams had not a free agent quarterback. They had, both of these teams had quarterbacks that one was drafted, first overall, changed the whole dynamic of the team. The other was a guy they brought in by that guy over there, that changed the dynamic of the team, brought him to the Super Bowl. So, free agency and the draft both have, and trades, which we're going to see in the offseason. Guarantee you that. They're already talking about it. A lot of things going on. But we're going to talk about free agency and the draft. Moving on to next season. I've got an article on NFL.com that I want to go over. It's interesting. It's about free agency and who these guys are going to keep. I don't agree with all of them, but we'll talk about it. There's a mock draft. They're ready to do mock drafts. And they're putting in, I'll show you. They're putting in trades. They're putting in all kinds of crazy shit. Like, just give me the regular mock. You don't even know who these guys are going to do yet. But, so they're going to do that, so we're going to mess with it. And we'll go over who, if any of these guys have any fantasy relevance. That's what the show's about, so that's what we're doing. So they said that's what we're doing. That's what they said we're going to do, we're going to go do that. All right? We got nothing else to do here. We got no football. So we'll figure out ways to talk about fantasy football. We'll do it. That's the job here. So let's get into it. But first, I'm always singing the tunes of 12-ounce sports. Everyone knows you can find my show right here, but there's others, dozens of others on 12-ounce sports. But did you know there's a ton of other live sports on the network as well? Watch live football, baseball, hockey, lacrosse, racing, basketball, and more right here on 12-ounce sports, right here. Also, check us out on Zingo TV. I tell you every week, Zingo TV channel 761. Always looking to quench that sports thirst. You got that thirst, you got to quench it. That's why you're here. That's why you're here. Now, when you go on Amazon, right there, perfect timing. When you go on Amazon, always go use the 12ouncesportsnetwork.com/Amazon to get in there and start doing your shopping. It helps out when you do it. And you're going to go on Amazon anyway, so help your boy out when you're on there. You know you're going out and buying all that weird shit. Cock rings going up huge, and I know they're all on Amazon. That's where you got to get them because the store across the street got shut down. The dirty store got shut down. So that's 12ouncesportsnetwork.com/Amazon when you're doing your shopping to help us out here. And you're going to spend your money anyway, so help us out. Thank you very much. That was awful. So you can tell I ain't military from a mile away. So let's talk about it. All right, let's get into it. Super Bowl. Actually, since we're talking, who the hell? I hate when I do that and it just comes on. Speaking of the Super Bowl, I'll share that with you at the end. So, Super Bowl, good game. 13-10 at the half, and then another 10 points each. Boom, boom, boom. Ended up with a touchdown for the Rams at the end. Odell Beckham got hurt. He started out the game good, and then once he went down, you saw kind of like, what are we gonna do around here? But they figured it out there. We need one drive. Well, they needed two drives. They got their field goal, and then they needed a drive to get the touchdown, and they did it. They just decided, okay, let's go we'll throw it to Cooper Kupp from now on. We do it all year, so let's do it again. And they did it, threw him the touchdown, and that was the end of the game. Very good game. 23-20 was your final. Matthew Stafford, 283, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. That one pick in the end zone was not great. The other pick, I forget what the other pick was. Cooper Kupp, I don't know why they haven't thrown the ball. He should be catching the ball. Whatever. They could not run the ball. Against the Bengals. Now, the Rams, throughout the whole year, they were a passing team. They've been a passing team ever since McVay got there. But they really showed that it was a combination of them not being able to, they're not the greatest running team, but Cincinnati played well against the run, and that front line is pretty good. They do have some free agents coming up on the defensive tackles. The two defensive tackles, Ben Inobi and I forget. I know the two guys on the end, Hubbard and Hudson. You're fine. You're staying. Those guys are gonna have to get paid at some point, but I'll worry about that when we get there. But they couldn't run the ball. They tried everybody. Stafford. They tried Stafford in there. He couldn't do it. Nobody could do anything. But they could throw the ball, and they did just that. Cooper Kupp, 8 for 92, 2 touchdowns. Odell Beckham, 2 catches, 52 yards and a touchdown, and I think he was headed for a pretty big night before he blew his ACL. Which they won the game. If they would have lost that game, they would have like, oh man, Odell Beckham. But they won either way. Van Jefferson, I thought he was going to catch a bomb. He didn't. And they threw the ball to Matthew. They tried to Philly to throw the ball to Matthew Stafford. That did not work. But they ended up winning. Three touchdowns, 2 picks by the quarterback. Joe Burrow, 22 of 33. Hit 2 out of every 3 shots for 263, a touchdown, no picks. Joe Mixon even got in on it for that touchdown to T. Higgins in the end zone for a touchdown. Joe Mixon, almost 5 yards a carry, 15 carries, 72 yards. A couple other guys got in there, 2 carries with him, 1 carry for him. T. Higgins, big game, caught that touchdown over Jalen Ramsey, pushed him out of the way, caught 4 for 100, 2 touchdowns on 7 targets. I think he's going to have a good season next year. He missed 2 or 3 games this year. And he still went over 1,100 yards. So this guy is the real deal. He can jump up and get those balls. Good, when we do the evaluations for next year's draft cheat sheet, I guarantee you he's going to be pretty high up there. Probably not as high as this guy, but he's going to be up there. Jamar Chase, on the other hand, did have a good game, 5 for 89. Tyler Boyd, 5 for 48. C.J. Uzama, who I think is going to be high up there higher up there on the tight end list than he was last year, pre-draft, and that's it. A couple guys had picks, and there's your final 23-20. Now, couple things. First thing, if you played any Super Bowl boxes, and you won, that's great, but I'll bet you didn't win as much money as I did. We had the 3 and the 0. I had the 3 and the 0. Hit the halftime, hit the full game. We did well, and then I was in another one. I didn't even read the rules. Guy calls me up and like, you had 3-0. I'm like, yeah, but I had it the other way. I'm like, yeah, but we pay the opposite too. So I made like $100 on that. I'm like, oh, look at that. So it was a good Super Bowl. Whoever won, congratulations. And whoever lost, try again next year. That's what makes it so fun. It's so fun and kooky. So that's it. That's what happened in the Super Bowl. Good game. But what about next year? Why can't we start talking about next year? It's only 51 weeks away. Well, let's talk about it. And I said this before, like when the game was over, I was like, you watch the Rams. If you go and check right now, the Rams won't even be the favorite to win next year. Well, let's see how that. If I'm right about that. Whoa! Well, look at that. Chiefs and Buffalo, number 1. Their conference didn't even win the Super Bowl. They're no 1 and 2. Rams number 3. I don't see them. I know that he was saying, Aaron Donald was saying, you got to bring these guys back. Okay. We'll see about that. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think they'll just back the truck up and dump money out in front of his house, and he'll be back. He's not going anywhere. Dallas Cowboys. I would bet against them making the Super Bowl. Probably have to lay a lot, but they just don't have what it takes. They just don't have it. They just don't. I don't know what it is. They've got all the talent in the world. They just don't have what it takes to win big games. San Francisco, on the other hand, they got Jimmy G for now. There's been rumblings about getting rid of him. Then what are you going to do? You bring Tom Brady in? They're just talking about Tom Brady. Jimmy G is not a fantasy relevant. He's a backup at best, or a fill-in when your guy gets hurt. All the rest of these teams are fantasy juggernauts. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Rams, the Cowboys, even the Cowboys. The San Fran, Deebo Samuel, and Elijah Mitchell when he's healthy. Whoever the running back is when they're healthy. The Bengals, tons of offensive guys. The Packers, not tons, but a good 1, 2, 3 in Rodgers, Jones, and Adams. The Ravens came up kind of big with the Ravens came up kind of big with. I mean, they got the quarterback, and they got the tight end. The quarterback got hurt, and they kind of just fell apart. So I guess that's why they got them. They have them up here. They know that they have a solid organization there, and they're run well. So I can see why they're up here, but I don't know about the Ravens. Denver Broncos. That is all speculation that Green Bay is going to trade Aaron Rodgers there. But if that's the case, then what is Green Bay doing here? It's so weird. It's so weird. But that's how they do it. The Tampa Bay Bucks, they need a quarterback. And like I said, I think I said it last week when we were talking about quarterbacks. There's quarterbacks out there that are going to be moving around. Good ones, too. Rodgers, maybe. He's kind of backtracked off that since the Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson, definitely. And Jimmy G, probably. And Jimmy G's not really... not Jimmy G, I'm sorry. Russell Wilson. But that's starting to become like an every year thing. Every year, they have 2 wide receivers there that are there for him to throw the ball to. You know, you're gonna go somewhere with him. Come to Philly. Philly, we got one guy who was a rookie last year. Probably gonna be pretty good. I got a good feeling about the kid from Philly. But really, you're gonna leave that? I get it. And the defense here isn't that great. It's not like, you're moving. Oh, we need some offense here. We got defense. Nah, that's not the way it works. Tennessee, New England again. New England. I don't see them going back anytime soon. When they had Tom Brady there, but you can't just plug anybody in there and it's Tom Brady. I know they want to think that. I know because they won 11 games this year that that this guy is trending along the Tom Brady lines. He's not. He looks like a good quarterback, but there's going to be growing. You don't just put him in Super Bowl. That never works. That never happens. It only happened one guy, Tom Brady, and I don't see them hitting that twice. The improbability of that happening is to the moon. To the moon, Alice. Let's go down here. Chargers. Good old Chargers. They like the quarterback there. The only team that doesn't have a quarterback here, a franchise quarterback that is established, are the 49ers. Tennessee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's do top 10. The top 10. The Buccaneers, but they don't. They're talking about Tom Brady's coming back. We're gonna go through this. We're gonna go through Brett Favre again with Tom Brady. I wouldn't complain because the guy. I'll probably draft the guy again. But are we gonna do that again? Tennessee, Denver, because they're speculating that. I don't know if they're speculating Rodgers goes there, Deshaun Watson goes there. They think somebody's going there. And if they did, that would be huge. Denver outside of the quarterback position seems pretty solid in a lot of areas, especially the defense. even with losing Von Miller, their defense looked okay. They kind of fell apart a little bit in the end, but they have structure there that's pretty solid, especially on the back end. Tennessee, don't like the quarterback there. I think he's been figured out, and that's the end of them. I mean, they had it right in front of them this year and couldn't do it. Granted, they lost a big part with Derrick Henry, but he came back from the playoffs. Even though he was hurt, he came back. It didn't work. Cleveland's still in there. The Colts, no quarterback. Cleveland, no quarterback. New Orleans, no quarterback. Minnesota, they already said we're keeping Cousins. Philadelphia, not sold on that guy. Seattle, they have a quarterback. This isn't a bad play. Being that shit of the value I see here is that if you come out of that division, you played the toughest games. You've played the toughest games of anybody else in any other division outside of your own. So you got to play the 49ers twice. You got to play the Rams twice. 49ers win the Super Bowl. The 49ers and the Rams are in the NFC Championship. So just kind of funny. Washington, I don't think that's going to happen. Although I do like their defense. Pittsburgh, they're going to need a little time to rebuild. The Raiders, no. The Falcons, no. The Miamis, we got to see what they do. Carolina, no. Bears, no. Giants, no. And all these teams are awful. So the value I see here, I see some Seattle value. You get 40-1 on Seattle. Because they're going by this year's stats, but you have a quarterback there. He's the lowest rated team. He's the lowest rated quarterback. Good quarterback, very good quarterback on this list. So I see Seattle as having value. The Colts, and I'm talking about as things stand now. So that's next year's Super Bowl preview. The Rams aren't even number one on the list. So funny how things work out. Let's talk about my bookie. Now with things slowing down, the end of football, basketball's still going on, hockey's still going on, and baseball's going to be ramping up soon. And if you want to responsibly get in on the action, head over to mybookie.ag. Use the promo code 12ouncesports. That's 12OZ Sports, all caps, no spaces, when signing up for the deposit bonus. First-time users only. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code 12ouncesports, all caps, no spaces, 12OZ Sports. Always gamble responsibly. You have to gamble responsibly. You can't put the mortgage on the pass line. You can't do it. Cuz. Also, instead of doing that, go check out Zingo TV. Instead of betting all your money and getting in trouble, go to Zingo TV. It's free. That don't cost you nothing. Use the promo code 12ounce 12OZ. It really helps out when you do that. 12-Ounce Sports is channel 761, like I tell you every week. They have sports channels, music channels. You have to go and see what you like. You go through the whole list, and you'll find some stuff you like. Go check it out. It's and sign up when you sign up. It's free. Use the promo code 12ounce 12OZ when you do it. That's ZingoTV.com. Now, we're gonna be talking about something else. Oh, this article. So Gil Brandt wrote this article for NFL. He's a senior analyst. He's definitely a senior, which means he's seen some stuff. Senior's seen some stuff. I've only seen some. Senior's seen a lot of stuff. I've only seen a few things, and the kids ain't seen nothing yet. They ain't seen nothing yet. Baby, you just ain't seen no free agents yet. All right, Super Bowl's over, like they say, blah, blah, blah. We're going to be getting into, free agency is going to be starting March 16th. Then we're going to get into the draft, and then we start putting together our fantasy stuff. But it's always a good idea, grab some, start looking at what teams are going to be doing, and if they, they have choices here to make. If they make a choice here and they make a choice there, always be ready for either way. So let's go through what Gil Brandt says are the teams, are the single players that the teams need to keep in free agency. And he does all 32 teams. Interesting. Let's take a look. The Cardinals. Chandler Jones. Fantasy-wise, that doesn't really have much of a impact. Defensive players, very few defensive players. Only the big ones, Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald. I'm not even going to go over it. Fantasy-wise, very few defensive players have an impact. And the Arizona Cardinals defense wasn't that great anyway. So I see what he's saying. Yeah, but fantasy-wise, this is not a big deal. Chandler Jones, defense, you're not picking Arizona's defense in fantasy if he's there or not. So, moving on. Atlanta Falcons, ding, ding, ding. Here's a fantasy guy. And I'll give you my opinion on this. Patterson Lake career breakout. He broke 1,000 yards of scrimmage for the first time at age 30. Stop. Full stop. As I just said, that guy's seen a lot of stuff. I've seen some stuff. Young kids ain't seen nothing. Young kids will probably say, you got to keep this guy, and then you got to draft him. This guy's going to get drafted. This guy, I'll tell you what's going to happen right now. Cordell Patterson, who had a good season, he was ranked top 10 running back, wide receiver, whatever you want to call it. Now, they have this season was the rise of the running back wide receiver position, which is just basically it's a wide receiver that they throw in the back, a big-bodied wide receiver that they throw into the backfield and let him run. Deebo Samuel, Cordell Patterson, both of those guys flourished at that position this year. And for the fantasy owners that had him, great. But the difference between him and even Jamar Chase a little bit, the difference between him and Deebo Samuel, Jamar Chase, is this. That's the difference. And I've seen this way too many times. Guys have, they have like a middling career. Maybe they have, they do well one year. Oh, he had double-digit touchdowns when he was 25, blah, blah, blah. But he never really got in the right situation. Now he's in the right situation. No. The situation's good. They used him in a different way. He was a kind of a gimmicky player. He's always been, he's been in the freaking league forever. He's 30. This was an aberration. This will not happen again. I'd let him go and let somebody else deal with what's going to happen next year. Next year, he's going to, you're not going to see the same numbers this year. If they keep him, they will overpay him, and then they'll be in a worse position than they are already. Let him go. Draft a guy. And they have him as a running back. There's way more ways to get a guy the ball in the backfield than just having a 30-year-old guy, paying him a ton of money, who's had like a gimmicky year. And on a shit team, like if he's doing it on a good team that's winning, going to the Super Bowl, San Francisco, that's a different story. This team won, 8 games? They won 8, 9? And they won 8 games, they played 50 games. What do you want? I'd let him go, and I wouldn't draft this guy next year. But we'll see what's going to happen. They're bad, not a great team, organizational-wise, so I can see them just, we'll take him. We'll bring him back. Give him a ton of money, too. Actually, I think they're smart enough not to give him a ton of money or a long-term deal, especially at 30 years old. Stephon Gilmore for the Carolina Panthers. Another guy, Carolina defense, I don't see them. Him and the rookie they got last year make a good tandem in the back end, but the defense itself, meh. James Daniels, offensive line for the Chicago Bears. That team's a mess, and they're probably going to get worse. They could probably end up getting rid of that quarterback. I do not like that quarterback. Jaron Kearse, the strong safety. That defense is good, but they had way too many other players on that defense making plays. Keeping or losing him is not going to make a big difference. Cowboys defense is going to be overrated next year. There's no way they're going to get that many touchdowns they got on defense this year. Trayvon Diggs going to take a step back in terms of getting, guys just aren't going to throw to him. And they'll figure out other ways to get him, to figure it out. And he made big plays, got a lot of picks. Also lit up a lot of big plays on the back end too. So this is not a big deal. Dallas Cowboys going to be overrated next year. I would not draft them either. Detroit Lions, Charles Harris, outside linebacker. Yeah, sure. Devontae Adams, first round pick. This is, what he says is right. Few free agents would change their team more by leaving than Adams. Even if Aaron Rodgers stays, without Adams, you're screwed because they have nobody else. So I don't think this is going to be that kind of deal, but I do. I think depends on what happens with Aaron Rodgers. I think they're both going to stay or they're both going to go. But that is huge for them, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd agree with him, man. You got to keep the guy, even if Rodgers leaves. You got to keep the guy. Try and keep the guy, unless he says I'm going with him. But how much leverage does he really have doing that? We'll see. Von Miller, he says, Aaron Donald, you keep this guy. Well, Von Miller's getting a little up there, but shit. I'd rather have him than, some rookie. Tyler Conklin, he played well in the tight end position. We've got a new head coach coming in from the Rams. They are a little more heavily centered. If you bring in the Rams offense, it's the two wideouts that get a lot of the passes. Robert Woods, Odell Beckham Jr., Cooper Kupp. To say, to support my point. Kyle Irv Smith didn't play, and Tyler Conklin ended up coming in, played pretty good. I think they're going to keep Kirk Cousins, but if they keep this guy, you still have Irv Smith there coming back next year, who they drafted in the second round, I think. So there's going to be competition. We'll see what happens. This isn't a big deal for me. He did play okay, but as a tight end, especially with competition in the backfield, in an offense where they focus on the wideouts, I'm probably pushing down my list. I wouldn't say I wouldn't draft him, but I keep an eye on him. But there's a lot of things that have to fall into place. So this is not a big deal for me. Marcus Williams, free agent for the Saints. Their defense was good last year, and I think they'll be good this year. I'll even say they'll be better than Dallas's. But I don't think this is. I'm not going to make a big deal about this. Evan Ingram, let him go. Just let him go. This guy, I've had enough of this guy. They drafted him in the first round. The guy just ain't that good. He doesn't. I don't care all these stats they can put out there. I don't want this guy around. I don't want him. Let somebody else deal with him. It's too much of a headache. Rodney McLeod for the Eagles. Defensive player. Offensive lineman for the 49ers. If you're going to start Trey Lance, keep as many offensive linemen as you can to help him out. You don't want him running around his first full season. You want him to drop back and be able to run the offense correctly. So I'd say, that's okay. Quadre Diggs, Seattle's defense stinks, so Chris Godwin, yes, even with Jameis Winston, Chris Godwin does what he does. He catches a lot of passes, gets a lot of yards, gets some touchdowns. Young. You got to keep him, and he's again, third, fourth round draft pick. Depending on who they get to be the quarterback there, we'll see. But he's still going to be somewhere in the third, fourth round of the fantasy football draft. Him and Mike Evans are going to be, they get drafted around the same area. So, but yeah, you got to keep this guy. What are you going to do? Just have Mike Evans? You don't have Antonio Brown either. So, Washington, the Commanders, yeah, stupid. Yeah, you need an offensive line. You need a quarterback to have him protect him. So we'll see what happens. He is getting old. He's getting a little up there. 4th straight year. He's been franchised. The guys don't like that. Franchising all day. But yeah, I mean, offensive line, got to have a good offensive line to move forward. That's it. Very interesting. Some impact on fantasy that you have to take into account. Like I said, Chris Godwin, the wide receivers are the big ones. I'd let Evan Ingram go. Interesting. But when free agency comes around, you're going to see some things happen that's definitely going to impact your fantasy football season for next year. So keep an eye on that. That's this guy's opinion on the 32 teams and who they need to keep. I give you my opinion on how I think definitely the fantasy football impact of the offensive skill positions. But outside of that, some of the offensive linemen, I put them next. Defensively, meh, because we're talking about fantasy football here, and that's what we do. So that's the fantasy football article, and it is time for you to take a piss.
Ounce Sports has a new home for betting. BetUS.com is the official place to place your bets and support 12-ounce sports. All you have to do is go to BetUS.com and type in the promo code 120Z and you'll instantly get a deposit bonus. This is America's favorite sports book. And remember, always gamble responsibly.
Yo, cuz, welcome back. So, moving on. I do this every year. And since we're going to be getting into the, the off season with, we just went over free agency a little bit. We'll get into that more. Also the draft. That's where you're going to make your biggest shit. Jamar Chase played in the Super Bowl. So, and the Rams gave up all the draft picks to go get Matthew Stafford, a bunch of other guys. They said, we don't need the draft. We'll use the draft as capital to bring in all the guys we want and build a Super Bowl contender that way. This model is going to be recycled by other teams. Teams that are like, okay, we have a good team. How can we bring in guys we need to make this thing go? It works. Copycat league. But one thing that, in common with both of those, and I said it earlier in the show, you need quarterbacks. And the Rams went out before this season, so we're done with this guy. This guy, he can't do it. So we're going to go out and get a guy that we think can do it, someone who's available. Because we have all the other pieces in place. All we need is this one guy. Went out, gave away draft picks, brought in Matthew Stafford. Next thing you know, they're winning me money in my Super Bowl pool, my Super Bowl block pool, and they're winning Super Bowls. Order of importance. On the other side, first overall pick, bring him in, let him play a year, gets hurt. Second year in, you're in the Super Bowl. And they went and got him, and I was not for this pick. When they went and drafted Jamar Chase, I was like, yeah. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I was way wrong on that one. I didn't even have him as my number one quarterback on that team. But I'm wrong. Still made my money. So we're good. But as you can see, quarterbacks drive the league. Quarterbacks win you championships. Good defenses help too. But every year prior to the draft, we do this. We go through. Gotta listen to that guy. Whatever he says, you gotta give a good eye on this guy. And you gotta listen to what he's the only. Well, okay. We'll just go over it. We go over it every year. We'll go over it again. Has the game changed significantly and created the need? Has the game changed significantly and created the need for Bill Parcells to update his criteria? It sure has. But every year I find it interesting to apply his criteria to the rising crop of quarterbacks to see who would be on top of Parcells' rankings. There's a reason. It's a freaking reason that this guy, I don't know if this guy writes the same article every year, but there's a reason why people say, I say it, this guy does an article every year saying it. Let's see what Bill Parcells would say, what his criteria would be for quarterbacks, because quarterbacks are the hardest position to evaluate. I've heard it a million times. Go watch any draft, anybody talking about the draft, anybody talking about evaluations of college players, they'll say the hardest position to evaluate is the quarterback position. That's it. Because you don't know what's going on in here. What's going on in the brain stem thing? But he came up with a way to say, you know what? You can't figure it all out, but if you put this criteria in there, you get an okay evaluation. And it doesn't win all the time. It doesn't. Go look up Rippon's nephew or whatever. I had him. Watch out for this kid. He didn't pan out. Not to say he won't go to like the XFL or USFL, which is back. But that didn't work out. On a team that still doesn't have a quarterback. Parcells is a Hall of Fame coach who was renowned for his ability to evaluate talent. In fact, when he was with the New England Patriots, he famously said, they want you to cook the dinner and at least they'll make you let you shop for the groceries. Yeah, he's right. He was right then, he's right now. And Ben Affleck. From an instant, I prefer purchase team. I Parcells first team effectively. All right, Ben Affleck. In 1997, he became the head coach and general manager of the New York Jets, where he had full control of needless to say, Parcells had convictions about his approach on how to build a football team, and his resume speaks for itself. In case you're not familiar, Parcells' criteria for drafting a quarterback: the following 7 boxes had to be checked in order for a passer to be an option. 7 criteria. Number 1, be a 3-year starter. You have to have played. These guys who come in a sophomore year, redshirt, blah, blah, blah. He's not big on that. And you got to start the 3 years. Be a senior in college. Graduate. You got to be a graduate. These guys, I left early. Start 30 games. Got to start. You got to have a resume. You can't have a resume with 8 games on it. You can't have a resume with 12 games. You had a great year. Win 23. So you had a start game, you got to win at least 23. Post a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. Complete at least 60% of passes thrown. Now, there's a reason for this. And if I could find... I'm going to do this again. Prior to the draft, most likely. But I think there's a video online where Parcells goes over, why do you have these in place? Well, let me tell you why. A little Alex Jones, Bill Parcells hybrid. Let me tell you, almost. What's that got to do with the draft? So, those are the criteria, and these are the players. And let's see. Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh. 3-year starter, yes. Senior, yes. TD interception ratio, yes. 81-32. Completion percentage over 60, yes. 62.4%. 7 for 7. 7 for 7 he was. Not bad. So, okay, we got one. Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. 3-year starter? No. Is he a senior? No. Did he graduate? Yes. How do you graduate and not a senior? I don't know how that works. Did he start 30 games? No. Did he win 30 games? No. TD touchdown interception ratio? Yes. 57-22. Completion percentage over 60? Yes. He missed 3 out of 7. He checks the fewest boxes, he says. Desmond Ridder from Cincinnati. 3-year starter? Yes. Senior? Yes. Graduate? Yes. 30 games? Yes. 23 win 23? Yes. Touchdown interception 2-1? Yes. 87-28. Completion percentage over 60? 61.8. You're on the line, but you did it. Yes. Another 7 for 7. 7 for 7. Not bad. Sam Howell, North Carolina. 3 years of starter, yes. Senior, no. Graduate, yes. Start 30 games, yes. Win 23, no. 2-1 ratio, yes. 92-23, not bad. Over 60%, yes. 63.3. 5 out of 7 he made, so not bad. Carson Strong out of Nevada. 3-year starter, yes. Senior, yes. Graduate, yes. 30 games, yes. Win 23, no. TD interception, yes. 74-19. Not bad. Over 60% completion, yes. 67.9. Made 6 out of 7. He just didn't win 23 games. Malik Willis out of Liberty. This is a big one. 3-year starter, no. Is he a senior? Yes. Did he graduate? Yes. Did he start 30 games? Yes. Did he win 23? No. Touchdown interception 48-18, yes. Completion percentage over 60, 62.9, yes. Meets 5 out of 7. We're going to come back to this. We'll come back to this. So the final tally, 2 guys hit 7, 1 guy hit 6, 2 guys hit 5, 1 guy hits 3. Okay, there's your quarterback draft. And these aren't even all the quarterbacks. There's going to be other guys drafted. I've heard, I'm not big, this is when I start looking at college players, looking at a little bit of tape here and there, seeing what other people say. So when the fantasy football comes around, we can get into that. So, we're going to get into mock draft that they put out. Now, I hate when they put out these mock drafts because they don't just, okay, I mean, we know there's going to be trades and shit's going to happen, but they throw the trades in there like, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. You don't know that. I'd rather have them not put the trades in there than guess. But we'll see. I guarantee before the draft there's going to be trades. So, be ready for that. But before we get into that, I'd like to tell you about the AM Drive. Tune in to the AM Drive every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern as they deliver the best in sports talk and pop culture to start your morning, hosted by Marco Carvelis and Aaron Crouch. Those guys. And, of course, as we tell you every week, Biscotti Gourmet, BiscottiGourmet.com. Biscotti Gourmet offers a new take on an old Italian tradition of soft-baked mini biscotti in many delightful flavors. Lemon's my favorite. Go to BiscottiGourmet.com. Use the promo code TALKMAN. That's TALKMAN. Different promo code because different product. For 20% off your order, that promo code is TALKMAN, TALKMAN, for 20% off your order. Any flavor is a wonderful compliment with your coffee in the morning, or as a guilty pleasure treat. You know you're guilty. You're guilty. So have a treat. So, last few minutes, we're going to go over mock draft real quick. So, like I said, they put in a bunch of trades and stuff like that. Now, first round picks, skill position picks, it can have a big impact on your fantasy team. You just saw it last year. On the good side, Jamar Chase, On the bad side, I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence in my league. I think he's going to be good. That's your quarterback? All right, good luck with that. So let's see. That's how good that guy is last year. One guy, the first pick, brought you right back to the first pick, and the fifth pick brought you all the way to the 31st pick. Not bad. So let's take a look at what they have to say. Because I'm going to stop and go over some things real quick. Evan Neal, Alabama tackle. I don't know if they can stay in this pick. They might trade out to get more, but I don't know. There's not usually that the number one pick for someone who doesn't need a quarterback is reserved for a really, really good quarterback, and there just isn't one out there. They could start doing that to one of these guys, pushing them up the board, and okay, we'll take this guy, and then you get a bust out of him. But I don't know who they're going to. Well, I have an idea who they're going to do it to, so we'll get into that. This guy can use Trevor Lawrence, can use a good offensive tackle. Alabama, that works. So I don't have a problem with that. Moving on. This is probably going to go this way too. This guy was huge. I just kept hearing about it. I don't watch a lot of college football. I don't. But I did hear about this kid. This kid's supposed to be a beast. He played at Michigan. Yeah, he's probably going to the Detroit Lions, number 2. So that's the way that's going to work out. But here's what it's like a little problem. Now, rookie quarterbacks can't make a difference on your fantasy football team. This guy, they're jerking everybody off for this guy. He plays at Liberty. Now, this is their Panthers head coach is going to project a trade with the Texans. The Texans could use a quarterback too and could take this guy. Got an issue with that. Like I said, he doesn't fit all the criteria. The criteria's not right all the time. But he plays at Liberty, okay? He plays at Liberty, and he couldn't win 23 games at Liberty. Couldn't win 23. What are you doing? How are you supposed to be this super great quarterback, and maybe he is, and not win 23 games at Liberty? Now, okay, maybe he had shit talent around. He was the only guy who was any good. Maybe. I think he's a transfer out of Auburn anyway. But you're that good, you can't win 23 games at Liberty? What? So I got a little issue with that. Secondly, they did a scout report on this guy. First off, 6'1", 215. That's not all. Diminutive. Diminutive? Ugh. Little guy. And they go over this thing. I don't want to bore you with everything, but they have him as a developmental starting quarterback. He's going to have to develop. Yeah, I get that. And his scheme tendencies are RPO, QB run heavy offense, passing in the shallow areas, vertical downfield. So he's kind of like a Lamar Jackson, but is he going to be, does he have the same physical gifts as Lamar Jackson? I don't know. That's going to be tough. You're expecting a lot out of a kid coming out of Liberty who didn't play against top talent. And when he did play against top talent, got his head beat in. He played against Ole Miss. They lost that game by a ton. I didn't pull it up. They go over it in this article. They break him down, and it's not great. So bad teams will go after this guy and get him, I think, and good teams will wait and get somebody else. Now the Jets going after a safety with the number 4 pick. That sounds like the Jets to me. The Giants need an offensive lineman. Yeah, they've been needing an offensive lineman they just keep drafting offensive line. Eventually, I guess we'll get an offensive line. By the time they do that, the first guy they got that was any good is probably going to be retired. This is the trade. The Texans will go for defense, and they think that Davis Mills is going to stay the quarterback. I mean, Davis Mills played okay for a rookie. He played better than okay for a rookie. Now you have to see progression. Is he good enough that we're not going to take a chance on Pickett or the other guy who turned out pretty well, Ritter, who made, we'll see. But even if this trade went through, you're going to go for an edge rusher? Okay. Back to the Giants again. Good trade they made last year. They ended up with a wide receiver who kind of was an asshole a little bit. But now they got two top 10 picks, and they can get a linebacker and an offensive lineman, which is good. Atlanta, edge rusher, yeah, I can see that. And there you go. Denver Broncos taking Kenny Pickett. That kid will be good. If, rather than Malik Willis. I just, he played at Liberty, didn't play against, not that Pittsburgh played, SEC talent, but they played, I've heard of Pittsburgh. They play in, I'm not going to go who they play. But, the kid's a high, what do they call him? He's high in the list of quarterbacks that are drafted. So already you got 2 quarterbacks going, according to this mock draft, in the top 10. So Pittsburgh goes with Sam Howell. I wouldn't be surprised if Pittsburgh ends up getting this guy. Whoever Pittsburgh gets, I'll put over. Well, Denver, Elway's still there, so kind of like that. But Pittsburgh, Sam Howell, we'll see what happens. Pittsburgh's probably going to go and get a quarterback, draft a quarterback. They don't go and get guys in free agency. It's not the way they do it. So maybe they pick this guy. I'd say they go and pick this guy. No, probably. I've heard more about that guy. And boom, another quarterback, man. So many teams need quarterbacks. And the thing about it is, it's so early. We haven't even seen where Deshaun Watson's going, where Jimmy G's going, if Carson Wentz is going anywhere. Some of these spots that we've already gone through in 11 picks are probably going to be filled. So they're going to go with someone else at these picks, and other teams are going to need different things. But these quarterback spots, 1 or 2 of them may already be taken care of by the time the draft comes around. We'll see. But, here's quarterback here. Now, of any of these guys, I would put Pittsburgh and Denver as the guys who consider drafting. Minnesota, Derek Stingley, is he? Okay. Cornerbacks start to go. Cleveland, they need a wide receiver, but they get another team. They can use quarterback too. The Ravens, offensive tackle, they always take offensive lineman, defensive lineman. They're an excellent drafting team. The Saints, another offensive tackle, projecting a trade. The Eagles, they need an edge rusher. They will take an edge rusher in one of these picks. Defensive tackle for the Chargers. Chargers can use defensive help. And the Eagles, again and again, they're going to need... They need so much stuff. They need a lot of stuff on defense. They need youth. So I can see them doing that. If Jason Kelsey doesn't come back, which I think he is, they won't need this. But maybe they will take an offensive lineman. You never know. The Jets take another wide receiver here. I don't know about all that. Patriots, Green Bay, edge rusher, Raiders, wide receiver. Another fast wide receiver from Alabama. Hope he doesn't run anybody over. Arizona... Cornerback, another wide receiver for Dallas. I don't know about that. Clemson, cornerback. Tennessee, linebacker. Bucks. New England, wide receiver. New England doesn't take skill positions. And Kansas City, Bengals, and Detroit. We're done. See you next week.